This evening on Money Matters, the property market, how is it dealing with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic? And what does it take to sustain the industry's performance? All this and the sector's outlook for 2021 right now. Welcome to Money Matters with me, Zahir Kelvinong Abdullah. Today we speak to property technology company PropertyGuru Malaysia. Its country manager, Sheldon Anthony Fernandez, joins us now. Welcome to Money Matters, Sheldon.
Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you for having us and great being here.
Okay, can we start off by asking you, looking at the housing trends towards the end of 2020, which basically indicated that 2021 would be a year of gradual recovery for the market, but due to the MCO and emergency, is it unlikely to recover as first predicted?
So I think you're right to say that there was expectations of gradual recovery. And if we look back in the past, we've been living with this situation for the past 1 year now. And when it first hit us towards the end of Q1 and early Q2, we saw a drastic decline in terms of searches right up to transactions. So there was literally no activity at all because it was new to everybody. But the good thing about the trends that we've seen is Q3, we've seen that momentum picked up quite drastically. So that clearly indicates a strong demand for properties in Malaysians, and the intent to own a home and want to buy a home is very, very strong. We now come into 2021 with some trends that we think will help. Typically, just highlighting the Penjana initiatives that will help stimulate the market, the low interest rate, which is conducive for financing, that will help as well. But yeah, one thing's for sure, barring any uncertain events, and case in point, recent spike in cases, we are now currently under MCO, and not to mention the state of emergency that runs through August, barring any unexpected events, we're poised to see a gradual recovery, but not in the short or medium term, but definitely something in a gradual uptick.
Yeah, looking at the difference between property trends between the first MCO to this current MCO, do you see a difference right now?
So I think we're relatively new in the current MCO, but when we look at trends, we always look back to see what we can learn from. And the good thing about the 2021 coming into 2021, as we published in our property market outlook, we highlighted a few key trends, and I'm basically 5 trends that we think will stimulate the market in 2021, and hopefully this post-MCO 2.0, we'll start seeing all this coming into effect. One of the things that we said and came out very strongly in our sentiment survey as well as our property market outlook report is this 1.75% interest rate, which is currently the lowest we've ever had. So it's a conducive financing environment, which is the bedrock of the property market, right? Credit. We also see continuation of the mega projects, which will have multiplier effects for the property sector as human mobility and connectivity helps with that. One thing that was good was we see the government focusing on the B40 segment. So this allows developers to focus on the free market and put out the right products, the right price, the right incentives for consumers at large. We've also seen acceleration online. With all these limitations, there was few innovations in the market. We've come up with the Asia Virtual Property Expo, the first one last year, but all these to sort of cope with the current conditions. And we think initiatives like this will definitely help with stimulating the market and obviously the pent-up demand that we expect to see given all the low transaction volumes we've seen in the past.
The Prime Minister said on Monday that the moratorium will be extended amid the restructuring of loans offered by the banks. Do you think that this will also boost the property market?
Well, I can safely say from the consumer sentiment survey we ran, moratorium are one of the key highlights. I think there was a much needed help to Malaysians at large. The one thing about property is it's a long-term investment, so you got to keep paying your loans. And given how uncertain the current market conditions are, and also whether or not you have a secured income in the near future, things like moratorium will help for those who are in need. So I think this will be very favorable to the consumers at large.
Okay, now just want to get your comments on this, because some property analysts have predicted that the property market will not recover this year as restricted movement will result in sales loss.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So I think if I were to sort of comment on that, I would quickly point to the trends that we've seen. And the one thing that I said was the quick acceleration online. We've seen virtual tour now, being consumed on all of our listings quite aggressively. In fact, when we launched the first ever Asia Virtual Property Expo, we've got high number of traffics coming in. Our sales software help developers interact with consumers virtually. And we've seen the sales process basically that typically happens in a phone gallery, everything done online, right from the point of searching to selecting the unit to booking the unit, and even just stopping short of signing the sales and purchase agreement. So I think that would help navigate some of the challenges when it comes to restriction of physical interaction. But nevertheless, the process of adopting this sales process online, we've seen that trend accelerate over the last few months.
Right. Okay, we've just got to go very quick commercial break. Find us on Twitter, share your thoughts on the discussion so far, and coming back, we'll be speaking about the regional trends in the property sector. Welcome back to Money Matters. If you are just joining us, we're speaking to the country manager of PropertyGuru Malaysia, Sheldon Fernandez. Now, Sheldon, with the announcement of the emergency, has foreign property investors' confidence been shaken in the market here?
I think, notwithstanding the announcement of the emergency, ever since MCO, we've obviously had this restriction of foreign buyers purchasing property in Malaysia. Not so a restriction, but limitations. So that said, the property sector, by far and large, really depends on domestic buyers. And I think, whilst certain segments that rely heavily on foreign buyers are impacted by it, I think it's a situation where you will see pent-up demand come back eventually, and when the borders open, I'm very confident you'll see foreign buyers coming back into Malaysia.
Right. Now, the vaccine which is going to be rolled out in Malaysia, will this soon improve property market expectations, say in the second half of this year, if it's on track for the vaccine to be rolled out then?
I think when it comes to the property market, it's all about the confidence in the consumer, and therefore it affects the sentiment. So as we shared in our consumer sentiment survey, which we do every half yearly, since H2 2020 going into H1 2021, we've actually seen the sentiment increase in a positive note. And that's contributed to the likes of the financing environment, the Penjana initiatives, continuation of mega projects. All these key trends that we highlighted actually contribute to the positive sentiment. And from our platform, we see search volumes go up. So there's definitely interest of wanting to buy and own a home. But one thing's for sure, I think any level of confidence that we can give to the market, that's going to help with the property sector. So definitely I think the vaccines will play a role to drive that confidence or give that boost of confidence to consumers at large.
Now, like you mentioned, of course, Malaysians will need homes, whatever the economic circumstance, right? But during this pandemic, are buyers holding back from committing to, like, say, ticket items like houses or landed properties?
Yeah. So I think, the one thing about this pandemic, it has definitely impacted incomes of the general population. I think those with good financial standing and, with security of income that they are confident of in the near future will continue to invest in properties. But having said that, the sector is still very, very lucrative and exciting to invest in, as opposed to other options like the stock market, which is very volatile. Property proves to be a good asset class to invest in. But generally, we do see a dip in terms of price and transaction in terms of the bigger properties like bungalows and high-end condominiums. We see more demand coming out for the mid-tier range condos and also terrace houses and linked properties.
What about the commercial market? How do you think this stands currently?
So the commercial market is an investor-driven market, and I think investors have shown to be taking the wait-and-see approach. They definitely like certainty in the market, and I think as things continue to gradually improve, and as you said, things like vaccine coming into the market, that will drive investor confidence, and we'll soon see the sector gradually improve as well.
Right. You mentioned government initiatives just now, like Penjana. So do you think that these government initiatives can force demand to meet supply in this pandemic?
Well, the good thing about 2021 is I think all key stakeholders are playing their part, and not just the government. So yes, the Penjana initiative will drive some of these, or will stimulate the market in a good way. But even the banks, Bank Negara, with the OPR rates coming down to 1.75%, that will definitely help. Developers are putting out good packages to lure potential buyers to take up their projects. That definitely helps in this market as well. So all these factors, I think, cumulatively will help stimulate the market. And if a consumer is definitely looking to buy, I think in general, consumers know it's a good time to buy. Based on our consumer sentiment survey, 4 out of 10 respondents said they will and are willing to transact a property in 2021. And we put it down to just the fact that we've been living with this situation for the past 1 year. We now know of this situation. And as you said, if everyone needs a home, if you need one, you're going to go out there and get one.
Yes. Now, talking about government initiatives as well, the House Ownership Campaign 2.0 has been extended to May 2021. So how do you think developers can work in tandem with these initiatives, basically to boost the property market?
I think the first things first is to get the projects out there and sort of advertise it in front of consumers. And I think we're already seeing that. We've seen developers invest a lot in their digital assets, their websites, their virtual galleries, because a lot of that process has now gone online, mainly driven by the demand online by consumers. But I just wanted to share also from our respondent of our consumer sentiment survey, a lot of consumers are excited about the HOC, mainly because of its benefits that come with it. But extension will be very well welcome towards the end of the year. And also things like low financing, if that continues, that's going to be a very well welcome initiative as well.
Okay, hold that thought, Sheldon. We'll be back. Let's take a short breather. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter and let us know your thoughts on the discussion so far. And when we come back, we'll talk about the strategies put in place by PropertyGuru. welcome back to Money Matters with me, Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah. We are discussing the property sector with PropertyGuru Malaysia's country manager, Sheldon Fernandez. Now, Sheldon, looking at PropertyGuru, did you have to change your company's strategy during this pandemic?
I think we definitely needed to adapt to the new environment, or the new norm, as everybody call it now. And it has been somewhat of a journey for us, a learning journey over the last few years. But we're glad that we managed to come to this milestone, being a market leader in Malaysia right now. So we operate in Southeast Asia as the largest property website across 5 markets, namely Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. And we are market leaders in all our countries, and therefore very, very proud that Malaysia, we are the new market leaders in Malaysia. And we take this off, all the leading web analytics platform like Alexa, Google Analytics, and Comscore, who rate us at 65% market share, more than 8 million visits every month to our site, and taking the top ranking property site in Malaysia.
Now, being the #1 position, obviously staying there would be the hardest thing to do. So what are you looking at in making sure that PropertyGuru maintains that position as the #1 website in Malaysia?
Yeah. So I think it's very important to sort of provide value to consumers, agents, and developers, which are the key stakeholders to our business. And we have done that very successfully in the past. Hence why the way forward is to continue doing that. Looking back at some of the first things we did in this market that I think garnered the support not just from our key stakeholders of agents and developers, but also consumers at large, is the fact we were continuously innovating some of the products we put out in the market. Namely, when affordability was a big challenge in Malaysia, we were one of the first ones to roll out the home loan pre-approval. And we partnered with banks to ensure that consumers have the ability to gauge what kind of loans or how much loans they will be able to get directly from a bank. So that put the power in the hands of the consumers. As recent as last year, given all the limitations of physical interaction, we launched the first ever Asia Virtual Property Expo. And that helped with connecting buyers to some of the leading projects we have in the market today. We partnered with our developer clients and had a very successful turnout at the event. Most recently, HOC, which is a very, very good government initiative to owning and buying a home, with all the benefits that come with it. There wasn't a location or a site where consumers could have all those projects that qualify for those initiatives. We embarked on this journey, and now we have this one-stop solution for consumers to see or to have a choice of all those projects that fall under the HOC initiative. And most recently, Kelvin, we've invested and bought over My Property Data, which is Malaysia's leading online property data company. And we're very excited to roll out future products together with them.
Now, of course, making sure that your clients stay with you throughout these trying times, I understand that you have something that you have for them that you want to say.
Yeah, I think having come this far, and with the consumers taking us to get to this position of #1, I think it's time for us to give back to Malaysians. So we figured the best way to do that is to go about by paying it forward, or we're going to launch this PropertyGuru Home Giveaway campaign. The idea is very simple: is to during these trying times, you want to pay it forward and give back to a deserving Malaysian. So from the 1st of February, you can go to www.propertyguru.com.my, and from there you will find details of this campaign, of which you can nominate a deserving Malaysian that you think deserve a free home. So yes, we will be giving away a free home. In terms of the home, we went about looking for all the factors that make a good home. So from the reputation of the developer to price to location. And I'm very glad to say that we've managed to find one that ticks all the boxes. So we landed on a project called Tropicana Metro Park by Tropicana Group. The good thing is Tropicana is a very, very reputable developer with a good track record in the country. Price-wise, it was slightly above the average 500,000 we're looking for. It's worth 600,000, slightly above 600,000, but it was definitely worth paying for. In terms of location, it was at Subang, so it's very well connected with mature township with great amenities and well connected highways. But more importantly, the project itself, it's a freehold property, great highlights, a 9.2-acre urban park at the center of the development. They've got a school there, an international school within the development, retail outlets. So there's a lot going for this property, and we were very, very glad to be able to provide this to the lucky winner.
Looking at the... Oh, congratulations on that, by the way. So looking at the immediate concerns and new trends with your clients, of course, as things go forward, are you changing basically how you deal with your clients?
So I think the way forward is going to be adjusting this new norm, which is limitation of looking at properties, viewing properties, etc. But as I said, we've seen this trend, especially in the last few months, accelerate online. We are definitely going to roll out innovative products as we have in the past to cope with this demand. So we'll be lookout to look out for things like virtual tours, sales processes going online through our FastKey sales software with developers, and cope with the demands that the new future will bring.
Okay. Sheldon, thank you very much for appearing on Money Matters.
Thank you very much for having us, Calvin.
And thank you for joining us on Money Matters. Before we go, find us on Twitter and let us know your thoughts about today's discussion. We'll be back next week with more money insights that matter. Till then, I'm Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah. Thanks for watching, and please remember to stay home and stay safe.